Hello everyone, welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown, where we take a look at every single board game campaign. Finishing up this week, we've got a couple pretty big campaigns this week. I think they're all at the end, so you gotta wait until there. But before you skip to it, I do want to talk about today's sponsor. I got some more shirts from my favorite t-shirt company ever, Into the AM. They have a new graphic tee drop. So I've got, I have that one right there. I'll go put that on right now. I love Into the AM. This is the one that Renee chose out of the ones that I got this time around. She said this one was her favorite, which I was surprised because it's big and nerdy. But I'll step back so you can see it a bit better. We've got this awesome Poseidon shirt. And what would Poseidon be without a bunch of octopuses? We've got this wicked, like, octopus in space eating this space astronaut shirt. It's super cool. Get a little bit closer to show it off. I didn't think that I would like this one because normally I don't go for like the astronaut one. They have a few like astronaut theme, but this one's like really getting me on board. We've got this cool shirt which has got like this little emblem, and then on the back we have a lamb. Oh man, I just love the friggin' quality on these shirts. Like the feel of the shirts, they're so friggin' comfy. I got one more. I got this typewriter with a bunch of vines coming out of it. All of these are mediums for your own sort of sizing pleasure. I guess I get to wear the typewriter one because that's the last one that I put on. All these are mediums. They're really good, really great quality. They're better quality that, honestly, I need to figure out a way that they can just sell the room and board shirts so I can get the room and board logo on these shirts because like these don't wear off too. I constantly put them in the dryer. They never really wear off. I've worn them a ton, and they're a bit longer than other shirts as well. Although I'm away from my house right now, and I used a dryer that had like an extreme high heat, and I might have seen like a little bit of shrinkage, which is a bit of a bummer. So I guess it depends on if your dryer normally shrinks your clothes, but like I find a medium is perfect for me. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm around 190 pounds right now, just for your sort of reference if you're buying these shirts. And if you use my code SLIPPERYJIM, the code still works. You can get yourself an additional 10% off. And that's on everything. So they have these sales. Let me get their website up. There we go. Yeah, you can always kind of get like 15% off. My 10% discount stacks. 40% off basic sales, so you can get an additional 10% off of that as well. This is a really cool thing that they have. They have a t-shirt club where you get a t-shirt of the month. This is the back of it, and you get a front, which is pretty sweet. That's how I got one of my favorite ones. And I find that the t-shirt club always goes into regular rotation as well, so that's pretty cool. Their basic tees are awesome. And this latest batch of graphic tees, I friggin' love. I really love them. Oh, cool. Oh, I thought that was on the back. Wow. Oh, that's a cool one. There are even a bunch that I haven't seen anymore. They're always adding new designs. Like, and that's legit. That's a legitimate reaction. I think that's beautiful. Ocean Hustlers. Let me see the back. Oh, that's a cool one too. Dang. And this one, I'm obsessed. Clearly, I'm obsessed. Like, this is also a sweet one too. I love the stuff that's got stuff on the back. I just think that's really cool. Okay, I'm obsessed with all of these. How come I didn't see? I want more. I want more Into the AM. I'll shout you out anytime you want. This is Canadian dollars as well, so 3 for 65, and so I think you can get it even cheaper in the US as well. They constantly have deals on. You can go to their sale tab too. This is where I usually look. That's probably why I miss it. I usually look at their sale tab. I see what they've got going on, and I see like how much of a deal I can get, and then I can use the 10% off as well to get additional stuff. They're really a fantastic company. Highly recommend. The most comfortable t-shirts that I own, and I am actively replacing every single t-shirt that I have with Into the AM shirts, because once you find a shirt that fits, it's like done, right? So easy, don't have to worry about it. Huge shout out to them for sponsoring this episode of Crowdfunding Countdown, and I'll be shouting them out again later as well, because I mean, I'm just so friggin' stoked. I think it's kind of cool. I really do like the Poseidon one. I think Renee has good taste, but I really like the octopus one right now because I'm doing a show which is kind of all about octopuses. That's why I know so many random octopus facts now, and so I like that was pretty thrilling. And I know I have some more waiting for me back in Toronto because I'm here in Nova Scotia, so I can't wait to show those off, to put them on everything that they've made. I've been so impressed with the quality. And I'm going to be more diligent about not putting them into extremely high heat dryers because that might shrink them a bit. But like for me, I like between a large or a medium depending how I'm feeling on the day. Because some days you want it a bit bigger and some days you want a little bit, closer. Yeah, so huge shout out to them. And an even bigger shout out goes out to my newest patrons this week, Christoph and Edouard. Thank you so much for jumping on board, supporting the channel. I am continually grateful. Like, thank you so much to everybody who supports the channel and finds this sort of content valuable and wants to see Room and Board grow and help me get more tech things to help that. I'm certainly incredibly grateful. Sometimes videos end up taking a long time and a lot of work, and I'm just so grateful to have the support from amazing, awesome members of the community. So thank you. You're the friggin' best. Okay, now that that mushy stuff is out of the way, let's get on with the week. We got a big week this week. Into the Am, go away. We're going to stay with the WSBG colors that I got around this ring because I probably will have to film something for them. Tomorrow, Terraforming Mars, strategy tips, Castles of Burgundy strategy tips, all that sort of stuff. So let's get into the week. We're starting off with the week with Don't Get Stabbed, 2nd edition. The cult hit horror card game is back with a brand new look and a plushie. Free US shipping. Let's check this one out. Looks like a very simple take that game, but it kind of looks like there might be multi-use cards, so that's something. But it's basically just a random Russian roulette, draw a card, try not to get stabbed. Well, that's pretty simple. If only all games were like this. 20 bucks. If a victim collects 2 matching combo cards, they can trade it in for a card card. And if you get a card card, how many card cards could a card if a card could card? 3 of them. The answer's 3. Triples. Triples are best. And then the killer is just, delaying the game. Well, at least there's a stabby plushie. There's the stabby plushie. With a retractable hood. There's a joke here. There's definitely a joke here. And a detachable knife. There's another joke here. But I can't quite find it this early in the episode. Anyway, free US shipping for 20 bucks, sure. I mean, it's something that completely looks uninteresting to me, but that's the basics, is if you like drawing a card and seeing what happens, now you can do that with Don't Get Stabbed 2nd edition. That finishes Thursday, March 14th, Pi Day at 9:59 p.m. a.m. Either of them. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Let's move on to Everstone, Discovering Ignis, a 1-to-4 player engine-building board game with multi-use cards set in a whimsical world. Now, this is more my speed. I'm excited to check this one out because, well, I like the art. Who did the art on this? Does it say? By TGrejczik. I don't know that name. Well, that's why. That's pretty cool. All right, cool. Let's check it out. Everstone, Discovering Ignis, because just plain Everstone was taken. It wasn't. Well, let's see. I assume it isn't. Why not just go all in? Just call it Everstone Discovering Ignis, sliding down Mount Zygar on a tube of calcifin. There's so many of these games now, and I feel like all of the games, that's the pattern that we're going to see this week. That so many games have a colon in the subtitle. It's like, I don't want to say all that. I'm too busy. That's the real reason I don't want to say it. When people fight out against it, it's just like, too busy. I don't want to type that much. So it's this engine building game, as it's specified. The video looks nice. Doesn't replace a gameplay section, though. But here's gameplay right at the top. I do like that. Nice structure of a campaign page for people who actually might be interested. First player to reach 10 reputation triggers the end of the game. Find and collect broken relics. You're going to be collecting relics, and you can either sell them for points or use them to build your engine, I think, is the key. And when you're going to find that pivot point, I think will be interesting. Harvesting resources. You only have a certain amount of space to hold resources, so resource management limit. Decide on whether to keep or sell relics you repair. Yeah, there we go. Selling relics will give you immediate rewards. Okay, and every relic you take takes up a spot, so you can't use that action anymore. I like that. I like that as a potential thing. Each relic has a way to be discovered and automatically repaired by matching your rolled harvest dice to the dice in the back of the card. Cool, okay. So there's a way to shortcut it too. Interesting. Where's the rule book? That should be right there. But there is a little tab that says rule book, so I'm a bit more forgiving about it. But shipping's first, so we'll look at that. US 18, Canada 24, EU 28, Australia 18. Hey, there you go. Good for you, Australia. And you can add in just $6 if you can get a group pledge. So 42, so at $10 if you're able to group pledge it into Canada. Shipping could be $10. That's pretty good. Otherwise 18, that kind of makes sense. But you're still looking at a $78 game. Not 59, 78. 77, sorry. I don't want to get anything wrong. Only 13 pages of a rulebook, although it does say there's 24 pages, so are we missing some? Feels like we might be missing some. Solo play, components, game variants. I don't know, let's see. Oh, because it's 2 pages each. All right. Yeah, okay, so similar to Scythe or Villainous or any of these things, you can choose an action, your pawn stays on the action spot, and then you move it to another action, and then you can see above here, this little 2 is if you have a caravan upgrade tucked under it, you also get to do that thing. So you can make those actions better as you go along. I do like that. I do like that specific action building idea. That's what Hidden Arc has, actually, which I backed. I saw on Kickstarter, found a very small thing. It finished up its expansion, finished up pretty recently, and now that I bring that up, I think, oh shoot, should I have gotten the expansion? I don't think so. I'm still think I'm happy with just the base game of that one. So these are all the actions, and then if the workshop ability is available, so it's like Scythe, it's very Scythe-like. You can take it, but if you have relics tucked underneath, you have to do the relic action. Oh, caravan upgrades go up top, relic actions, repaired relics go on the bottom, but if you're covering your workshop space, then you don't get to activate. Okay, and there are different ways you can upgrade things that just give you resources, things that have a cost, things that just give you additional space, and things that just give you straight points as well. That's huge. What can you do on the board? That's the question. And what are the actions that you get to do? You can go get objective cards. That's what the barter action is. You purchase a relic from the market, and your relics are your objective cards. Next, you have the explore action. These explore actions, you can have influence in the space and then get benefits from putting influence in that space if other people use the actions. Basically, they're going to be random abilities. They seem to be one-time use or somewhat one-time use because you have to replace the villager tile with a new one. And so there's going to be cycling of things that you get to do, one-time use abilities to get you resources, trading stuff for stuff. Then we have the harvest action, roll 3 dice, moving up an influence track, which give you rewards, or you can use those dice to just discover a relic so you don't have to gain resources to do it. And then finally we have the repair action, which is you choose the relic that you want to pair, so you just complete the objective. So the influence track gives you certain things. Explore. You know what this is giving me? This is giving me very Hidden Arc in a sense. Hidden Arc has an added way of maneuvering around the board, but it feels like in Hidden Arc you kind of only take 2 actions for a lot of it. And here it feels like you might take a varied amount of actions between the bartering. Well, bartering is just getting you stuff. Explore and harvest are the way you get the resources to get the stuff. And then, so my mic cut out, which was great. And then I fixed that. And then it didn't record, which is great. But luckily for you, now I know everything about it. We left off, I think, at Everstone. Everstone, I think, looks pretty good. We finished up. It's a very standard pick up and deliver, but because it has larger shipping, it gets to be about $100 Canadian, which for me, again, is too much for something that I'm not like over the moon about. But I think it looks solid. I think it looks solid, and if you're excited about it, definitely check it out. It finishes Thursday, March 14th at 12 p.m. Moving along, who knows how many times, Goblin Plunder, well, I'll still talk about it. You know what, Goblin Plunder? This is a testament. I don't know why it's a testament. Maybe it's a testament to me wanting to have my numbers up. Who knows? But you've made the cut every time. I don't even think it looks that good. I think it looks very mediocre. But it's designed as a, maybe that's just my retake syndrome, retaking it out on you, Goblin Plunder, and you don't deserve that, or maybe you do. There's just a row of dragon's treasure, and you can choose to steal treasure from the dragon, steal treasure from your friends, or flip the card to make your treasure better. You're trying to collect sets. This was designed as a tavern game within a tabletop role-playing game like Dungeons & Dragons. And I think that's what's keeping me bringing it back, because I like that idea. I love when people add in these systems, right? I even love that in The Witcher. That might have been one of my favorite parts about The Witcher Old World, is the idea that there were these little mini gambling games that you could do. So if you want one of those mini gambling games, I swear Kickstarter, I'm gonna lose it. Kickstarter upgraded their system, so now that when you hover over here, even when you're just going through, it doesn't disappear. It doesn't like flash and then disappear when you get to the bottom. You gotta get all the way down. Anyway, that's Goblin Plunder. It's Thursday, March 14th at 12:13 a.m. Moving along to Forgeflame. I swear, Kickstarter. Forgeflame also looks quite fun, and I was not expecting this to look this fun. It's a pick up and forge game, which is just a pick up and deliver game where you have to forge these artifacts. First person to forge 4 artifacts wins. The rulebook is actually quite nice if you're interested in checking it out, because they have a breakdown of all the asymmetrical abilities of all the characters at the end. Each character has their own deck of cards where they get to do a bunch of different things. And I think that's pretty fun. And you want to bring the gems. Each character also has their own mini, which can hold a certain number of gems, which Nemesis and Awakened Realms need to take note of if they are going to move forward in putting little damage cubes on their minis. That's how you can up your game, Awakened Realms. Pay attention. Forgeflame knows what's up. These minis just look so fun, too. The game ends when somebody crafts 4 of these relics. The only thing that I still don't understand is what happens when you fight a kobold. It does not explain it very well in the rulebook, but otherwise it's a pretty good rulebook. It gives you a sense of what's going on. You will draft your team of heroes, so you get to play with different adventurers each game. Then you run around, you flip over these tiles to get ore, and the kobolds will try to run in and steal that ore away from you, and you can fight the kobolds, I assume, to push them back, but they can have bad effects or maybe good effects, and this is, I'm sorry for anyone who has epilepsy, because that's just giving everyone a seizure. But what's also fun is at the end of each round, you get to upgrade your deck, so you get to be stronger and stronger as the game progresses. I think this one looks pretty neat as well, and for €49, 73 Canadian, the shipping on this one is actually pretty good as well. It's $12 to the US, 16 to Canada, and then EU is around the same as well. And Asia is around the same as well. Asia and Oceania as well. Cool. Yeah, clearly subsidized shipping, but looks again solid. It's not something that I'm going to seriously consider because it hits again that $100 range, and I got too many games as it is, but it's one that I would absolutely play. I think my good friend Colin Vongo's scale of would I buy it, would I play it, or would I throw it in the garbage, basically Zach's 1, 5, and 10 scale. I think that's really good for breaking these sorts of things down. Absolutely would play it. I think it looks fun. Just not interested in buying it for me. But if you're interested, check that out. The finish is Thursday, March 14th at 1:30 p.m. Moving along, oh yeah, to the 4 games of Grail Games. This took up a long time to look through, but now I know what to tell you. Here are their 4 games. We've got Bottle Imp, not to be confused with Bottom Imp. That's something that I guess we'll be covering later. Bottle Imp is a trick-taking game that feels a bit like Old Maid. If you get the Bottle Imp, it turns all of your points into negative points, so you don't want to be left with a Bottle Imp. It seems fine. Millions of dollars they have not done an update on, and they don't have the rulebook, so even though it's social deduction, don't care about that. 101 looks fine. It looks okay. One player's zeros, the other player's ones. You want to control these 5 different columns, and everything you play can sometimes change other cards. You have the exact same deck, except one of you zeros and one of you's ones. It just seems fine. But Tango surprisingly looks quite good. You can go to their 3rd update for that. Tango is like Bridge. Essentially, everybody has a dummy hand. What are the rules? Because that had some nice visuals as well. Everybody has a dummy hand where you can see 5 cards of your opponents, and you have a hand of 10 cards as well. So you play a card from your hand, opponent plays a card from your hand, you play from your dummy, the opponent plays from their dummy. And then whoever loses can swap out whatever the card is that's off to the side, and that then becomes trump. So it's this ever-shifting tango dance that really does look quite nice. Shipping on these are bad, but the price on these are actually quite good as well. $12 Australian, $11 Canadian. Like, that's really good for a Kickstarter, especially for these little card games. Usually people put them at, 15 or 20. And coming back to this, I'm actually glad I came back to this because it's still really good. Like, it's a really good price, and it should be commended that you don't often see, even though it's just a small card game, you still don't really see small card games on Kickstarter for that price, and I think that's great. They've got a 4 bundle deal as well, but 101 and Bottle Imp didn't look that interesting whatsoever to me. However, Tango, I'm super high on. So check that out if you like trick-taking games. A nice trick-taking game for 2. That will also finish Pi Day, Thursday, March 14th at 3:06 p.m. Moving along to Champions of the 100 Halls, the co-op strategy card game. Now, I started this one by saying, do you love games like Magic the Gathering, Slay the Spire, Cthulhu Wars, or Cosmic Encounter? Well, I really dislike Cosmic Encounter, and I really dislike Magic. And then I'm very upset that we lost the footage, or we never had the footage, because Renee was like, you don't like Magic? What? I'm like, no, I'm talking about Magic the Gathering, not the magic of the universe, which she thought I was disparaging all things magical and beautiful, or even just the concept of magic, which...
Not as funny after you tell the joke.
You're right. It really isn't. It was much funnier the first time, but unfortunately, I can't Abadra my way out of this one. That's Renee's spell for getting unlimited cereal. I guess you had to be there. This one, oh, I hate everything. I'm so mad. But this one actually surprised me as well. I think the deluxe is the way to go, which is $50 over the $40. You get an extra bump of a bunch of cards. You get some additional scenarios and realms. Basically, you're going to take a scenario deck and you're going to take a realm deck and you're going to play against both of them. The realm deck will give you quests and events that will happen to you. The scenario will kind of churn out the big boss that you have to take on, and you're going to take on the role of these characters and try to take them out. I didn't read in the rule book. They do have the rules. Click here to see rules. They did have it's just a big old sheet of it. I don't know if you always play with 4 cards. I definitely misread this. I was still seeing Abracadabra instead of Abracadabra, and I thought they wrote on the campaign Abracadabra, and I was like, this is the spookiest thing in the world, but it's just dyslexia. So, way to take all the magic out of my life. Hallowed Halls, 100 Halls. But you'll play a card and you can activate a card because you're going to have a bunch of different things out there. The cards themselves don't seem that inspired. I think come on, the explosions aren't even included. So really, what's the point? Because they're just like draw extra cards, heal cards, but they're simple. They're simple, and I think it's kind of cool. Again, it's not something that I'm going to spend 100 Canadian dollars on, but I really didn't hate it that much. I didn't love it like Jared Sink. I could never love it as much as Jared Sink, but I didn't hate it as much as I expected to. So there's a quote that you can put on your page. And I stand by that, or my name is not John Toilet. That finishes Thursday, March 14th at 11 p.m. Moving along to Dinosaur Erotica, the role-playing game. And I gotta tell you, just 7 to 8 seconds into this video, it captured every ounce of erotica that I've wanted to be capturing in the 128 episodes of Crowdfunding Countdown. It really did. And then 10 seconds, we get the image of this beautiful Dinosaur Erotica, a game of absurd romance for 2 players, or more, if that's what you're into, or hopefully less, since I was told I would not get this played with me. And then 13 seconds in, they drop the bomb that it's not just Dinosaur Erotica that you can have, but giant squid erotica as well. I mean, come on. As I stared up into his large, dark eyes, deep as the ocean, and hiding just many secrets. I think it's just as many. I think it's just as many. I think, you know what's sexy? Grammar. But I'll give a pass on this one, because those beautiful behemoths out there don't speak the same language as we do. The only language that we speak in communication with one another is our bodies. He reached down and brushed a stray strand of hair from my face. A chill traveling down my spine as his cold scales brushed against my cheek. I found myself in awe that his massive, clawed hands were capable of such a gentle gesture, and I wondered, what else were they capable of? I mean, come on, sign me up. Dinosaur Friend, PDF copy, $15. Dinosaur Lover, print copy, and a PDF copy, and a backer credit, immortalized for all eternity, $20. This is for sure going to be the pick of the week. I mean, it just has to be. Or my name's not John Toilet. Jared Toilet? I forget. That finishes Friday, March 15th at 11:37 a.m. If you really want to get erotic, come on, get some Dinosaur Erotica, baby. Okay, we're moving on to Vampire the Masquerade. Delve into Montreal's Underworld Chapters Definitive Edition is the ultimate co-op RPG in a box, 60-plus scenarios for 1 to 4 players. This is one, the only thing I know about Vampire the Masquerade is that it's apparently got the most atrocious rulebook out there, which I said in the rabies, because I stole that information and joke from one of my lovely patrons. So, yeah, I don't want to look into this, but we're here, so that's what we're going to do. Don't understand why it's called Chapters. It's just because there are chapters. There are a bunch of scenarios. There you go. There's an upgrade pack, 45 Canadian, 33 US, sure. There's an epilogue expansion, so if you have already played chapters. There's a digital experience that's $99 Canadian. Experience the definitive edition with the digital version. This option lets you enjoy the board game narrative through the companion app. Providing a seamless and budget-friendly experience. Okay, so what this is telling me is that you really don't need the game whatsoever, right? This is telling me that, like, hey, it probably works better as a digital edition. I don't like Gloomhaven, probably does. You don't have to deal with the setup. But the fact that it's like $99, I mean, come on. It's not $249, and you don't get the app here. There's like a narrative app. Or you can get the all-in for $3.89 Canadian. Yikes. It's an RPG in a box. Attention to detail I've never experienced in an RPG before. Yeah, that's because it's a board game. And you have more components. Each version invites you to the same captivating story, ensuring that all players can experience the full depth of our narrative. Deluxe version for those who love a tactile sensation. It's a collector's dream. The digital version reimagines the board game experience for the digital age. Access all the narrative content through our free companion app, which turns your device into an intuitive gateway to the story. In this version, a spiral-bound paper tile book replaces physical tiles, offering a more streamlined exploration of the game's beautiful landscape. Okay, I'm sorry, so the digital, you're still getting physical components. Why are you calling it a digital version? That's so stupid. It has an app. Who cares? You're not printing out the books because you're going to use the app. That's all you have to say. Ugh, I hate this. Well, I mean, I like it. I do like it now because it's cheaper, you know, 73 US for a big story. That's good. Let somebody else do the talking for once. I desperately wish that it would happen. Still get a bunch of trackers, still get the rule book, still get the sealed envelopes. The digital version fits inside a calyx. Yikes. And the tiles book, 60 pages, thick paper. Yeah, get this version. Don't get anything else. Why would you? It's all the same stuff. And then a bunch of cardboard tiles, a bunch of chapters booklets that you can then just flip through. Yuck. A nice big storybook. I'm sorry, like, why is anyone ever getting this deluxe version when all that changes, you still get all the cards, you get all the plastic components, you get all the tokens. The only thing that changes is that you get a tiles book of 60 pages instead of 24 cardboard tiles, a spiral book, all the printed booklets, which are 90 pages each, and another feeding event printed booklet. Do you need that much paper in your life? You don't. 64 times 90, 5,760 pages? Is that right? Is that math right? Do you need 5,760 pages? I don't think you do. The fact that this exists, the fact that people are getting this, I don't know who these 98 people are, but I guess they want to be able to read. And there's something, I guess, to be said about flipping through and like seeing what other events could have happened and using it as like an RPG, whatever. But no, oh my God, no. Don't do that. Do the digital version. Please. For the love of God, do the digital version. And don't do anything else. You can play now. You can play it on Tabletopia. Awesome. Using the web app to guide your first steps. Designed for solo play. There's a little tutorial. You can see if you like it. Love it. This is apparently, according to Fellow Welt, says it's the best narrative game ever made. The most compelling story. And an amazingly good game. And character chooses. Although this one is the best review. I did it. It's my first finished campaign ever. I love this game. That's the reason why you shouldn't get it. Oh, look at all the freaking books in there. Gives you an RPG in a box. No real rule book, but I mean, just the amount of pages should tell you the experience that you're getting, and you also know that you have too many campaign games to get this one. But please, if you are going to get this one, please, oh God, please get the digital version. I cannot stress this enough. Like, to the 98, and the 320, just because people who, it's you, you're the worst people out there. And I know most of you are my patrons. I'm not letting you off the hook. You don't go all in all the time when there is the better option of this normal version right here. That's 73 US, 99 Canadian. And what's shipping? I didn't even look at shipping. All-in pledge 30, deluxe pledge 25, digital pledge 23. So it's the same. Shipping estimate. It's only an estimate. $23.63. Approximately. Canada? Throw one more in there. That'll make it look good. But for the love of all that is holy, get the digital. Stop going all in. You don't need it. You know you don't. You're not going to play through it. You're going to play through it a normal amount, which is 5,760 pages worth. And a feeding book. Anyway, that finishes Friday, March 15th at 5 p.m. Let's keep it moving to Ascending Empires, Zenith Edition. Experience a fast 4X sci-fi adventure. This is by a new company, Play to Z, which has a bunch of people involved in it. Like a bunch of people who've been a long time in the tabletop space are involved in this one as well. I'm really, really surprised it's only raised this much money. That feels like not a lot. What are you eating? Is that a receipt? I need that for my taxes, Tato. How am I going to deduct those definitely tax-deductible Cheetos? Tato, how am I going to deduct this giant bag of mini eggs that I bought definitely for work purposes? So I know there's like a lot of tabletop heavyweights behind this, and I'm really, really surprised that it is not broken 100K. So I hope this wasn't a fake goal. Let's check it out. I'll tell you why, because your shot of the board there looks like it doesn't have any minis on it. And that's all anybody cares about, especially with a $110 price point, $149 Canadian. Yikes. What's going on in this? Yeah, look, there are the minis. Quick, accessible 4X tabletop game for only $110. 2 neoprene playmats, a bunch of stuff. All right. Discs. I don't know what these discs are, but probably made out of wood. Dinosaur wood. 1 tier. That's it. On your turn, you take 1 action. Move, deploy, build, interact. Move. Oh, explore. No. You'll be exploring planets by moving your ships into their orbit. Okay. You'll be exploiting those planets by deploying troops and building structures. Cool. You'll be expanding your reach by moving to other planets and placing star bases in their orbit, by building outposts and cities and deploying troops onto those planets. Exterminate. You'll be exterminating your opponents by overwhelming them with your attack strength. More discs than them. Rulebook. Download the rules. Yes, please. Give it to me. Love seeing that. Love seeing this right at the top of the page. This is the sort of stuff that I like, right? Well, okay, I lied to you. But it was a smaller, condensed what's in the box. I gotta give it to them. Most of the campaigns, these would be blown up just to give you a larger version of what's going on. And, well, I like it, but maybe they would have sold more if they did that, to be honest. Generally, everything that I like, I also realize that, like, from a marketing standpoint, it's not always helpful. Because what I like is people showing their game, you know? What I like is people putting their game forward and giving the consumer all the information they need to make an informed decision and not trying to trick the consumer into buying something that they won't like. And you know what works? Tricking the consumer. But I will still always not enjoy those things and try to celebrate campaigns that do nice things. And this feels like it's doing nice things so far. The star map has 4 quadrants, A, B, Y, and Zero Snake. Omega? Is that Omega? I don't know. I prefer Zero Snake. Ooh, it does say it's one of the fastest 4X games in existence. Take that, Last Light. Roy Kennedy, they're coming for you. Although, unfortunately, Ascending Empires, at least to my knowledge, didn't do the $1 pre-pledge, and Grey Fox did, so I think Ascending Empires is intrinsically better because of that one fact. I don't like this as this random estimate. 25 to 33. I think it's going to vary drastically depending upon the location. They said we've included as much of a discount on our shipping costs as possible, but there's no free shipping. They're not included. There'll be US, Canada, EU, Australia, Asia between 25 to 33. They better be if you're going to give such like a blanket statement. I'm not sold on that. But again, there are a lot of like board gaming heavyweights behind this. Play to See is a new publisher founded by Zev Schlesinger, made up of a number of long-standing board game veterans. Yeah, Stephen Bonacor's in it, who started Stronghold Games, Jeff Engelstein, Tim Mativier, Mark Ross, Scott Brady. I don't quite know those last 3 as well. And Ruel said he was involved in some capacity as well, but I don't see Ruel's name up there. Ruel Gaviola, who's just been around the block. You've been around the block, Ruel. I'll say it. I've said it once. I'll say it again. All right, let's get back to the rulebook. I can see why it's not doing well, though. They don't really have, like, a stunning gameplay. It's not, like, really highlighting what's going to be fun about it. It's just saying, hey, it's 4X. It's going to be quick. Technology tiles. Anyway, get a bunch of tech tiles, troop cards. During the game, you'll be able to spend energy tokens to increase the number of times you can perform your selected action on your turn. Okay, I like that. Start with 1 energy, increasing energy. Okay, I do like that a lot, actually. You'll refresh some of your energy, so that's like your income, and your income is generating the actual actions you get to take. I do like that. You're fighting for some objectives. Move ×2, deploy ×2, build ×1, interact ×1. Cool. Oh, right! I forgot about that. Why is that not on the main page? Did I just miss that? That's not even in the video. I have to rewatch that video. This is a dexterity game. That's why they're discs. Like, what? Why are you not telling people there's the dexterity element to it? Did you take it out because people didn't want the dexterity aspect of a 4X game? That's the pull. Right. That's why you need to touch any part of the shaded ring around the thing. I completely forgot that it was a dexterity game, and I don't know if it said it in the video. I need to watch that again. That's absurd. That is absurd. Who's marketing this game? Like, come on. I take it all back. Tell us what your game's about. That's why they're discs. By moving your ships, not even flicking. There's no description on here. Let's see if it even says flick once. It doesn't. Does it even say dexterity once? It doesn't say dexterity on the page. That's absurd to me. Ascending Empires, what are you doing? And that's why going to different starships and bases makes sense, because then you can spawn on different bases and you're positioning yourself. That's why the thing looks boring and bland. Oh my god. Use an artifact. You can flick your starship that's in orbit of an artifact. This is a move. Since artifacts provide this operation, you can use them quickly to move around the star map. So you're using points around the thing. It's all based around this flicking, is this movement, and then you're going to be building things. You can see the buddies starting to attack each other in the background. That means we've got to move on. What is going on, Ascendancy? Oh, man. So it's $110 for this 4X. That is a flicking game, but it's a flicking 4X game. I think the components are going to be nice, but it's weird, unspecific shipping that, like, I did trust until you didn't tell us actually about your game on the game, and now I don't trust that generic range, although it probably seems about accurate. Like 25 to 33 seems accurate for what I assume the size of the box will be, but man. And you know what you can save? 30 off MSRP. And you know what you're going to spend in shipping? $30. So why would you buy it now? Are there any stretch goals? No. It's just a pre-order from a company that has not established itself whatsoever, even though it does have Zev and Stephen Bonacore behind it, who are very knowledgeable in the industry. Like, what's going on here? It looks fun. The flicking part is the fun part. I wish you had told anyone about it. So if you want a combo Dexterity 4X game, like, I think this is really unique in that sense and could hold a spot on your shelf because of it. But, like, they're not going to tell you about it, so why should you care? I don't know. But if that does get your heart all a-pumping, that finishes Friday, March 15th at 8 p.m. We're moving on to Ready, Set, Bet High Roller Edition from AEG, which is a deluxe edition of John D. Clare's best-selling game about a day at the races. And I have an interview with John D. Clare. I did that one for WSBG. We were doing a designer interview series on the Dice Towers channel and on the World Series of Board Gaming's YouTube channel as well. But so I got to talk to him because he was a guest at the event, and because Tom was playing a lot of Ready, Set, Bet at WSBG. He was just playing it in the open gaming area and just calling it. And he said, you know how I came up with this game? You know, often as a kid, I just would love to roll dice and see what numbers would come up. I'm like, yeah? He's like, yeah, so that's basically Ready, Set, Bet. You roll dice and you see what numbers come up. That's essentially what this game is, except in this one, now you can be a high roller. Now you can roll it really well and spend over $100 Canadian on something you could get in retail right now for a lot cheaper, because you need those premium health chips, those poker-style chips, and a giant-sized betting mat. People are betting as the caller keeps rolling the dice. The caller keeps the game moving forward and is always pushing the game forward, is pushing the race forward, and it's up to you to be placing bets midway through, seeing who's going to move, who's going to win, who's going to head out into the lead, and you can shift your bets as it's going on. There's a lot of chaos happening. So I don't ever see, I mean, it's Tom's #1 game of all time, and I knew it was going to be up there. I knew when it was hitting his top 10 that it would, because he has loved playing it, but I just don't see the point of this existing other than it's Tom's #1 game of all time. And AEG's like, yeah, we could probably sell a lot, and Tom would like it. And Tom probably is liking it because he loves playing it and he loves running the game. So if you love running the game, and like, this is a picture at WSBG where everybody's playing it. That's Tom, Meg, Z, Camilla, a bunch of other people. I just don't get the hype for it. I see it's fun. It's definitely like, oh yeah, Paula played it as well. Paula ran a couple games of it at WSBG as well. People have been loving it, and it's just, you need a caller who's going to be really enthusiastic and call it like a race. And if you've got that, it can just be a fun sort of horse race simulation where you don't lose all your money, but you can have the thrill of victory just the same. So if that interests you, you can check that out. It finishes Friday, March 15th at 9 p.m. But why would you just not get the cheaper version? I don't know. Because you're listening to me on this channel and you found me through 5 Reasons You Shouldn't back and you're a Kickstarter addict who spends too much money on board games when the retail cheaper version is just completely fine. Maybe that one. Yeah. Or just, wait and spend $40 Canadian when it gets restocked instead of, triple that. But what do I know? I'm not an avid gamer like you. That finishes Friday, March 15th at 9 p.m. Let's move along. This is just a quick one that I thought looked kind of cool. Let's see how expensive these are. But these seem kind of fun. They're retro video game cartridge deck boxes for any collectible card game. Holds 100 double-sleeved cards. Double-sleeved. So you really know that you're protected for any wild gaming that might occur. Just anything. You're double-sleeved. So
Flips and flops,
that was not a Renee joke. That was a Chris George joke.
He's gonna make the jokes around here. I want to get paid this month.
How dare you? Yeah, so these look kind of cool. If you want to make sure you protect against any sort of slips and slops, keep it slippy, slopper. Yeah, these are cute. How much are they? Still not telling me how much. $25 for a deck box. I mean, do what you want, but you can get deck boxes for, $2. Or you could spend $25 and shipping on them. But they are fun, so maybe you could just make this a craft for yourself. Let's move on to things that I've been cutting. This just lost one backer. Went down a bunch. Only have 90 backers now. Spending an average of $100 on this. Yeah, okay, we look at it. We gotta look at it. I just cut one. I can't cut one. Oh, and luckily one upcoming is cut because it did the stupid $1 pre-pledge, and we don't give any of those people coverage. Now, do we? So yeah, we'll look at this one. Actually, we'll look at the updates first and hope you did the $1 pre-pledge. All right, let's look at this. All sizzle, no spice. Or no steak. So let's see if they have a rulebook. Age of Eon is a strategic battle card game. You and your opponent each represent one of the 4 ancient empires. So it's 2 players, not 4 players. It's not a 4-player game. Just don't... Nobody plays these as 4-player games. Or do they? Is there anybody out there who plays a 2-player head-to-head card game?
So it's just like Duel Monsters.
Yes. Anything along those lines that actually uses it as a team game. I've never heard of this. I mean, I guess I have played Magic as a team game, and that was awful. And I hated it.
You hate Magic.
I hate Magic. I do like it. Seems like a good price, though. Standard edition, $29 US, $45 Australian. Smart phrasing and framing here, $41 Canadian. And the Eon edition is just filled with a bunch of stuff that nobody ever needs, but people desperately want. So, great idea. Normal teaching session takes less than 10 minutes. Great. Predict your opponent's moves and adapt your strategy. Your choices influence each other at every step. Variety of strategy. Land. So it's a lane battler. It's similar to anything like Air, Land, and Sea, it seems. You're fighting for each of the 3 Marvel Snap realms. Choose an empire, decide the order in which your demigods will fight, so you're choosing that order that's set out beforehand. I like that, because once you know the game, there's a little bit of a mind game of what needs to be played when and how you can counteract that. Draw 7 cards to start a battle. Place an attack card on a land with a matching symbol. Use the card effects, Sacred Seal cards, and Homeland Advantage to outwit your opponent. So yeah, just a little lane battler. Maximize the total power of your attack cards on each land to outpower your opponent and win the battle, but then it says, defeat all your opponent's demigods to emerge as the winner. Oh, because that's the 3 rounds, I guess. Rulebook? Sure. You've got one? I'll check it out. PDF. I do like the art. I like this guy. Yeah, I mean, it seems fine. It's just not my style of game, right? I don't really care about these land card games. I know that you're going to be stopped by symbols, and you can only place certain symbols into different places doing those sorts of effects. I just find that style of gameplay to be wholly uninteresting for me personally. But if you like that style of gameplay, this seems like a very simple, easy implementation of that. So what do they think about their shipping? 12 Australian. Free shipping with the Eon edition. Oh, that's great. To Australia. That's awesome. And then to the US, 12 or 19 to Canada, 10, 13, 15 euro to UK. So yeah, all around that sort of 16 US dollar mark, 12 if you're in the US. So in the US, it would cost you $41. That's the cheapest. Cost you around 57 Australian to get this to your door. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's funded. I'm glad it's funded. I think it looks wholly fine. That finishes Monday, March 18th at 12 p.m. Moving along just quickly to Thunder Road Vendetta Carnival of Chaos. And I say just quickly because I've already covered it in the 5 Reasons You Shouldn't Back. I think I go over the gameplay in an okay way there. Maybe. Alrighty. If you're looking for a Carnival of Chaos, well, look no further. But yeah, Thunder Road Vendetta is a wild Mad Max style racing game where you chuck a bunch of dice, you drive as fast as you can, and you try to smash into each other as much as you can, as much as possible. And here they've really doubled down on that. It's really not a race at all. It's just what wacky things can you do to your opponents and how much can you ram them into other things that might blow them up or might send them to victory. Who knows? They've created an arena mode, so a lot of people are getting this arena mode, this ticket to the show, which I get that people are wanting to get it and supporting it, but shipping here is so expensive, and it will be cheaper in retail. Like, if you're just getting this expansion, I don't know why you're getting it now. Like, I don't know why you would ever contemplate getting it now, especially because shipping is like $30 to the US. $25 for ticket to the show. Yeah, so it's just bananas to me that there are 3,700 backers who just decided that they want to give money to the U.S. Postal Service instead of the board game company. Well, I guess they're giving it more to Restoration Games as well too here, but it's just wild. There are so many people who are deciding they need to go all in for a game that's just randomness, the board game, chaos, the board game. I also saw in the comments of the 5 reasons that they said that the asymmetric abilities weren't like that asymmetric and that the big rig wasn't that fun. So I don't know, but I know people who really, really love this game as well. And to just, if you want to race things, you want to chuck dice, if you want to have wild and zany things happen, and you want to have like a fun story, then yes, definitely check this out. For me, I'm not really that interested in it. Even with people saying that it's a super fun time, it hasn't convinced me that I would particularly enjoy it because I don't know, I have to turn myself on to that level of randomness, right? And so if I'm in the mood for that, sure, but I think then I'm just in the mood to have a good time regardless of what's happening, and that's not necessarily the game itself that's doing that, but it could be other things. But yeah, if you want to check that out, that finishes Monday, March 18th at 11 p.m. I'm glad that so many people enjoy it. I know it's been a hit for a while now, and yeah, cool to check out. Moving along, not really. I just wanted to flag this. Massive Verse, the card game. It's got lightning quick duels for 2 to 4 players featuring characters from the hit comic. What hit comic that is, we will never know about. Because if you are backing and you want to vote with your wallet about the stupid $1 pledge, well, we're not covering games that do that. The $1 pre-pledge is, I think, a really company-forward decision that is not consumer-forward. And I am consumer-forward in all things. And unfortunately, if you want to resort to these weird $1 pre-pledge tactics, you're not going to get free coverage on this channel. In fact, if Massive Verse wants me to review this game, that review will cost them $502. That's true. So let's move along to Floe. This is one that I'm actually very excited about for the week. Floe, which is an adventurous strategy game that takes you on heroic journeys across the Iceberg Sea. Choose a path and leave your mark on the realm. It's by Henry Audubon and a few other designers, it seems. Yoma, Johnny Pack, and design art by Andrew Bosley, probably one of the #1 artists out there. Sought artists, Beth Sobel, Andrew Bosley. I see so much Andrew Bosley art on Kickstarter, and that's because it's pretty fun. So I hope the game is. Let's see. Aha! Pika Games is a subsidiary of Fantasia Games, who did Endless Winter, and that's why it looks very similar, or at least the mini structure does look similar. I was getting real Endless Winter vibes here. It's sort of like a combo. I don't know why they would do Pika Games, because this feels along the same weight as Endless Winter in terms of the decision space. Because usually, like, when Awakened Realms did like Awakened Realms Light, it was because they didn't want to like dilute their brand, but this feels very similar, at least with that sort of pitch. There's a lot of different options that you can do. I really do like this. What's this about? But they just threw every single buzzword in there. 3 on the complexity scale. Well, but we don't know what that scale is. Discovery, 5. Adventure, 4. Euro, 4. Luck, 2. Strategy, 3. Tactics, 4. Synergies, 4. Okay. Narrative 2. Campaign 3. No, get out of here, Campaign 3. You're just opening envelopes and you're adding cards. Who cares? It's got as much of a campaign as friggin' Run has a campaign, which is not any. I'm really excited to review Run. I've got a lot of games that I've been playing through, so you can expect to see a lot of reviews up and coming of games that I've been having fun with. The Explorer is €65, 70. The Adventurer gives you the Floe Deluxe. Oh, okay. And a soundtrack for free, but you don't get the free soundtrack in the Explorer pledge, now do you? And then the Floe Hero. Ooh, this is just to really give you your monsters expansion. Yeah, so it builds itself as an adventurous strategy game because there are a bunch of different things that you can do, right? I haven't even gotten to the how to play, and I feel like I know the feel of this game already. You have an introductory game, and then you have an unlocking system compared to your progress, which for sure is just you play a certain number of times. Run has a really great unlocking system, and I'm excited to open that little envelope that says, when you get good enough at the game, then you can open this thing, because I'm sure it adds a different element to it. Here are some overviews. During your turn, take a hero action, then a familiar action. You have a hero and a familiar. You get to have 2 different ones, which I like. Gain warmth by meeting villagers and spending resources to activate village actions. Hey, collect items, increase your warmth capacity, get quests, expand your neighborhood, level up your hero and familiar. Endless Winter and Unconscious Mind to an extent, and I feel like anything that Fantasia Games does is let's take every mechanic possible and jam them all together. And some people will like that. Some people will hate that. Renee hates those sorts of games. I think it's the potluck of board games where there wasn't an organization and everybody brought salad.
You hate salad.
And judging by my dietary choices over the last couple weeks...
Weeks?
What do you think, years? How dare you? I hate salad, so I will hate this. Right, gather resources, open crates, find treasures, explore places, discover. There's just so much going on. Well, let's check out the rules. I think, though, this is greetings, reviewers and backers. This is the content creators version of Floe rules. So you find some notes that apply specifically to them. Cool. I love that they're just releasing this, though. I think that's awesome because, yeah, generally you'll get a rule book because, anything that I get rules for, you know? And so they always exist. That's why I'm like, why are you not showing this? And I really like that they're like, hey, listen, this was kind of like the work in progress sort of thing. We still have tweaks to do. These rules are a compilation of the first 3 games. Keep this in mind regarding the complexity level. I mean, come on. If you're on this channel, if you're backing on Kickstarter, you don't need to worry about complexity level, I think. I don't think you need the introductory games. And I kind of dislike that Floe is forcing you to do the introductory games first. They're just, sometimes they're boring, you know? They're great as like a learning tool, but sometimes you just want to play a game and not learn it before you can get to the fun part. 73 pages? Oh, yeah, I would have turned this down.
You need a new t-shirt.
Why?
It says, where's the rule book?
Yeah, to go with too much shipping. And then have the rule book be on the back, near the imp bottom. I do like that you're going to be exploring the land and giving you access to different tokens. I like that because there's a little bit of randomization, right? I find exploration always gives a little bit of excitement and less strategy because you can't plan for everything, but you're uncovering things and then you have to constantly adapt. Those are the sorts of games that I do like, games where you have to constantly adapt your strategy and work with what you have in front of you and have a little bit of luck in them as well. Renee's not long for this world. She wants me to stop so that she can go to sleep. Well, I'm not going to read through this 73-page rulebook, and I'm going to blame it on Renee. No, please, give me a note, please. You take a village turn, you take a map turn. First person to 6 points in this introductory game wins. You're spending warmth, you're moving up on these tracks, you're getting resources, bunch of bumps of bonuses. This is interesting. It's an interesting decision to make, right? We're already looking for the base game at $100 Canadian. It's going to have a nice storage solution. You do get the little stretch goal expansion, but I just think that Fantasia Games, the retail production for Endless Winter was really, really good. And I also know you didn't really need any of the expansions for Endless Winter, and a lot of those expansions kind of were bloaty. And so I feel like this is one of those things where they're trying to give you additional value. And I think they're hitting that value, but I also don't think you'll need it, you know? This is one that I think I think a lot of people will enjoy because it's got a lot of combos and a lot of things going on. And then the more that they play it, kind of like Endless Winter was for me. I think Endless Winter is a good game. And it's still on my shelf, and I've no designs to really get rid of it. maybe I'll bring it back here in the summer because some of the people who really enjoyed it will be coming back as well to do the show because I've got a summer theater contract in Nova Scotia. But it's one of those games where so much is going on. You know, if you like those games to the extent that you want to just get this automatically. Like if you played Endless Winter and you're like, man, I love doing everything all the time, and then you actually have kept playing Endless Winter and not just put it on the shelf and been like, yeah, I got to see so many different things, and I believe that there's a really rich game there, but I haven't played it enough to see, like I know a lot of you would have done, then I think, you know, maybe don't get it. Or get it. Do what you want. €17 though. So the cheapest tier is sitting at €82. That's like 90 US dollars. It's like $120 Canadian for the cheapest tier when it hits retail, and I think it will hit retail, I think it'll probably be cheaper. Even though it says save 20 off MSRP, I don't know. My bet is that you can get it cheaper down the line without paying for the shipping, and I think it'll be fine with the retail version personally. But I also think it looks friggin' adorable, and I think Fantasia Games knows how to combo things together. And a lot of people liked Endless Winter, and myself included. So if you want to get in on a Kickstarter-y version, or just go buy Endless Winter to store, you know, wait for Unconscious Mind. All of their stuff will feel the same, for sure, and that similar feeling, and you know if you like that feeling or not. So if you're interested in that finishes Tuesday, March 19th at 1 p.m. You know what? We're calling it there. We're calling it there with Floe being our last one because the kiddies need to eat, and Renee needs to go to bed. So that's it. That's it. We see Artie in the background sitting so patiently, just waiting. And Tato's gonna be running around like a friggin' maniac pretty. So there he is. Every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you as Tato attacks Artie's tail in the corner there. The pick for me being the thing that I think is most interesting. The pick for you being the thing that I think if you get, you won't be disappointed by. I don't think anything really applies as a pick for me and a pick for you. My pick for me is Into the AM shirts. Like, and that's not. It's really not a pull. It's not because they're sponsoring this episode. It's not because they gave me these shirts. I mean, I think out of everything here, I would prefer to have shirts. So I think it actually does legitimately get the pick for me. So use code SLIPPERYJIM to get 10% off because they're so comfy. And that's more to, if I had to pick like a secondary pick for me, maybe I'd pick Forgeflame because I really like the idea of the minis being able to carry the gems like that. That draws me in. I think it's a decent price for Kickstarter for what you're getting, and I think the flow of the game looks, you know, fun. But I think it just looks fun. I mean, like, we all know that my pick for me is Dinosaur Erotica, right? Like, but I can't say that publicly, well, until Renee goes to sleep, and then I open up the other browser tabs. But I think the games this week have just been fine. I think they've kind of just been fine, and so that's my huge caveat that I think they look just okay. I don't want to, and for pick for you, again, I think go to your store. Think about which one of these games, if it was at your store right now, you would go out and you would buy. Is it Thunder Road? Because you can go buy it at your store instead of waiting however long for it to get to your house in an oversized box. Just go buy it at your store. I think my pick for you probably would be, oh, yeah, I wish Ascending Empires had made a better case. The digital version of Masquerade. I mean, my pick for you is also Dinosaur Erotica. My pick for you and I is Dinosaur Erotica. Let's be very clear, okay? This is the game I will be playing at conventions moving forward. Yeah, I guess my pick for you is Floe, in the sense that you can't get it at retail yet, so it kind of edges Thunder Road out there. But I think you should wait until retail, you know? My pick for you is to go into your local board gaming store. If you buy most of your stuff online through Kickstarter, like, go to your local store and browse the aisles and see, like, make a wish list of games that are currently in retail. And then every time you're thinking about backing something, look at that list and say, hey, do I want this more than these other things? I think you'll find that the answer is often no. And it's just a good reminder to have. So there we go. That's it. That's it for the week. Thanks everybody for watching. My name is Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase, but I do have a little cat's birthday to celebrate. Artie, it's your 5th birthday, okay? You want to say hi to the people? And then I'm going to give him a treat. Walk the runway, walk the walk the runway, 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 walk the runway. The Artie, walk the Artie, walk the Artie, walk the Artie, walk the Artie. Thanks so much for watching. wish Hardy a happy birthday. Oh, sorry, buddy. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. You want a greenie? You deserve some greenies.